challenging. The final zone is the city. This option doesn't spawn you directly inside, but instead drops you at the entrance, giving you access once you're ready. And trust me, the city is extremely complex. If you thought Extinction City was bad, just wait until you start learning about how this one works. Before I start throwing everything
Stream
at you,
Elements
it's
said,
important to
your
understand the
handyman
map's
gaming
layout,
is now live.
specifically which
Streaming
areas that
Call
you
of
should
Duty,
avoid and which ones are safe to
Warzone,
travel through.
Lost Colony
The
Ark
center of the
Survival
map, tucked
Ascending.
between the surrounding mountain ranges leading toward the city, is actually one of the easiest areas to traverse. There are very few threats here, making it a solid route for early movement. Some of the main areas that you'll want to avoid early on are the aberrant zones. These are extremely easy to spot thanks to their glowing purple, almost monstrous appearance. These zones are home to dangerous creatures like revenants, and they will absolutely end an unprepared run. The two outer layers of the snow biome are much more dangerous, filled with manas and other harsh predators. However, despite the danger, this area is great for gathering basic resources if you're careful. You'll also find caves scattered around these areas as well, which can provide temporary warmth and protection from the cold. And of course, there's the main city. While it's the ultimate destination, this is not somewhere you should be exploring right away. Save the city for later once you're properly geared and understand how the map really works. And speaking of trying to stay warm, you may have already noticed that you will die incredibly fast on this map. Basic cloth and hide armor isn't going to protect you at all, and that's where Ark introduced a brand new armor set called the Arctic Armor. Not only does this look great, but it provides a massive amount of cold insulation, even more than fur armor. The Arctic set also weighs significantly less, and you can unlock it as early as level 19, making it very easy to obtain. Crafting it only requires basic resources like fiber, hide, and metal, with the hardest material being pelt. Luckily, pelt is easy to come by since creatures like mammoths and direwolves are everywhere on this map. Before you even unlock Arctic armor, another great early option is simply crafting a torch. Holding a torch provides insulation against the frigid temperatures, and without it, you will literally freeze to death early on. Once you obtain a full set of Arctic armor, it also comes with additional bonuses. You'll take reduced fall damage and your stamina drain is reduced by nearly 50%, making survival and traversal much easier on Lost Colony. Now that you've got the hang of the basics, you're probably wondering where to actually build a base. Because let's be real, this map is basically nothing but just snow and mountains. The city looks insane, but I'd highly recommend not building there early on. Instead, here are 3 solid base locations outside of the city that still give you easy access to it later. The first spot is 63.3 latitude and 53.5 longitude. This is a small cave sitting right on the direct path into the city and also along a route that leads deeper into the snow biome. The cave has a surprisingly decent amount of room and is perfect for a solo player or a small tribe. On top of that, you have great nearby resources including rich metal nodes which make early progression much easier. The second location is at 79.7 latitude and 41.1 longitude, and this one is honestly built to be a base. It's a massive structure with a single main entrance that leads onto a large platform with plenty of room to build. You are a bit further from the city, but flying there is just quick and easy. This is actually the spot that I personally use. Resources are plentiful, and there's a good density of outposts close by, which makes it an awesome all-around location. The third and final spot is 70.1 latitude and 86.3 longitude. This is a massive flat area located in one of the harder regions of the map, but because you're so high up, you barely have to deal with any threats once you're established. Outposts do spawn here, so you'll want to be careful at first, but once you place structures, those structures will be blocked. You're extremely close to basically every resource that you'll need and have near direct access to the boss arena that leads into the city. This spot is best suited for a large tribe and is easily one of the
Your
strongest
handyman
PvP
gaming
base
said,
locations
did you
on the
know?
map.
The
Now,
first
as a little bit of
oranges
a
weren't
bonus, this one can be
orange, they
found
were
at
green.
85.6 latitude and 29.5
Did you know?
longitude.
The first oranges
Then
weren't
here's the
orange,
surrounding
they were
area.
green.
So over here, you have this little platform right... Wait, what? What is that? Oh, it's just Mitra 9. Mitra 9 is a non-alcoholic supplement that quite literally makes you feel good. You see this thrall over here? He's having a bad day. That's you without Mitra 9, and that's you with Mitra 9. These drinks give you a high without the impairment. While your buddy over there is getting drunk every night looking like a fool, you can be different and sip on over 30 different ice-cold beverages like cream soda, which is my favorite, and feel no wooziness and no hangover. You see, Mitra 9 doesn't just replace alcohol, it revolutionizes it by acting as a coffee replacement for rough mornings and even a relaxer for hectic nights. And if you thought it won't get any better, well, I'm actually refunding one lucky person their entire order every week for the next 6 months. Simply use code OUTCAST or my link in the description to try Mitra 9 and save 25% off your entire order at mitra9.com. Once you have your base location figured out, you're going to need the right resources to actually build there. And that's where Wikily comes in. This is not a sponsorship, but it's an absolutely amazing website that shows every single resource location on Lost Colony. It covers everything from metal and element dust all the way to the new plant species R spawn locations. It quite literally has everything that you need in one place, making it hands down the best resource to use when planning your routes, farming runs, and base progression on this map. Now that you've got your resources figured out, it's time to talk about some great starter dinos that you can find on Lost Colony. The first and most important one is the Snow Owl. You can find snow owls all over the map, and they're incredibly useful for traversal, scouting, and survivability. Managarmers are also found across the map and are extremely easy to spot. Just these two dinosaurs alone are perfect to tame early on, especially considering how massive Lost Colony is. On top of that, you'll also come across creatures like Rexes, Dinotheriums, Argentavis, Bison, Carnos, Desmodus, and even Cryolophosauruses, which are one of the brand new dinos introduced with the map. These are just some of the options, but all of them make excellent starter tames, whether you're focused on farming resources, flying long distances, or simply just traversing this brutal map more safely. Lost Colony introduces 10 brand new dinosaurs, and every single one of them plays completely different from anything that we've had before, starting with the Orlaix, a serpent-like creature that can be found flying around the tops of most mountains. This thing has some insane abilities, including the ability to pick up 2 dinosaurs at the same time. Next up is the Gloon, a shoulder pet that can be found scattered all over the map. Its main ability allows it to mesmerize nearby creatures and enemies, causing them to ignore you completely, making it extremely useful early on. The Desmodus is finally back in Ark and can be found in most caves across Lost Colony. It functions mostly the same as before, with its standout ability still being the generation of blood packs. Another new creature is the Veilwyn, which you may already be familiar with since it was available about 6 months before Lost Colony officially launched. This creature has the ability to multiply itself up to 6 times, allowing it to deal a massive amount of additional damage. If you take a Veilwyn and obtain a Volpite crystal, it can evolve into a Soulwyn. This creature can quite literally create ice bridges and walk through the skies, making traversal completely just insane. The complete opposite of the Soulwyn is the Malwyn, a demonic variant that is obtained the exact same way, except the Volpite crystal must first be corrupted. The Malwyn can build up to 20 different traits, allowing it to fatigue enemies, maledict them, or make them vulnerable, though the system can be pretty confusing for newer players. The Drakeling is another creature that was released about 6 months prior to launch as well. This is easily one of the most overpowered ways to farm loot on Lost Colony thanks to its ability to obtain dragon keys, but we'll get more into that a little bit later. Next is the Ocedon, the true tank of Lost Colony. This is the dinosaur that you'll end up using for almost everything, from outpost missions all the way to the final boss fight. It deals massive damage and can even roll bullets to capture other creatures. The Cryolophosaurus is another new creature that spawns randomly throughout the map. This is by far one of the most annoying dinosaurs to deal with, as its ice breath can freeze players and creatures while also blinding their screen. The Gigadesmodus is an endgame creature that can only be obtained by defeating the Lost King. This is what the Quetzals should have been. It's slightly larger than a wyvern and can dive bomb enemies, dealing immense damage. And finally, the one creature you technically can't tame, the Neophyte. This thing is your worst nightmare on Lost Colony. They can have upwards of 185,000 health, cannot be damaged by dinosaurs, and are absolutely terrified. Again, more on those later. These are aberrant crash zones, some of the most dangerous areas on Lost Colony outside of the main city. While these zones can spawn a few aberrant dinos, the real threat here comes from revenants. The revenants come in dozens of different variants, each with their own abilities and dangers. On top of that, these zones can also spawn alpha revenants, which can have tens of thousands of health. They are extremely fast, highly aggressive, and will overwhelm you very quickly. If you're just starting out, you should absolutely avoid these locations. Aberrant crash zones also contain plants like Species R. If disturbed, these plants will spawn revenant creatures that will kill you almost instantly. That said, these zones do contain some very important resources. You can harvest organic polymer from certain bushes, obtain meat from the plants, and collect aberrant mushrooms. Once you have a solid setup and proper gear, I'd highly recommend exploring these areas. Just be ready for a serious fight when you do. While exploring the outer regions of the map, you'll frequently come across what are known as outpost missions. These are outer outposts and come in several different variants, with the most common being Outpost Defense Small, Medium, and Large. These 3 are found strictly in the Outlands and follow a defense-styled format where you place turrets and defend against waves of incoming dinosaurs. Once completed, you'll earn loot, boss tributes, and even thralls. The other 4 outpost variants you'll encounter are Marksman's Hold, Gladiator's Keep, Breeding Pits, and Molten Works. These outer outposts are slightly larger than the ones found in the main city, but they appear to be roughly the same difficulty. Instead of defending, these missions require you to push in, destroy enemy structures, clear out hostiles, and then fight a boss that spawns in at the end. Defeating the boss rewards loot in the same way as the defense missions. These outposts can be decent for loot and provide a solid challenge, but they are not easy. You'll need high level dinos with good saddles just to stand a chance. All 7 outpost types come in Gamma, Beta, and Alpha, with Alpha being the hardest difficulty. As of right now, I only recommend
Welcome to the flip side, guys, and welcome to a little bit of a different video today. I've been asked a lot over the years what my ARC settings are. What settings do Sarah and I play on our series? And I'm finally going to show you guys what those are. We're going to walk through the entirety of our server settings, and then I'll also show you guys what mods we use. Yeah, so now there will be a reference forevermore for me to point people to when they ask what our server settings are. So we're gonna go item by item all the way down this list. If you guys aren't looking to adjust your settings at all, this video probably won't be super interesting to you. But for anybody who plays ARC, you may find some value from this, or at least your curiosity might finally be, you know, squelched. Squelched? Sure, we'll go with that. All right, so just starting at the top, I don't have expert mode on because I'm not an expert. So there you go. We got server name, message of the day, duration. This stuff is really not important. We have our map name right here. Now, I use Nitrado servers, and if anybody at any point would like to get their own server, I actually am an affiliate partner with them, and there's a link in the description where you can go and purchase your own server. It's really nice because there's no tethering. You can have as many people on there as you want, you know, depending on what package you purchase, of course. But yeah, it helps support the channel if you guys decide to purchase your own server that way. But if not, that is totally cool. But that is the service that we use because it's worked pretty well for us so far. So this is where we would change what map we're playing on. So we can hop between these, and it saves all of our data on each of the different maps. So tomorrow we'll be going back to the island, and Mega Base will be there. So yeah, that's how you change the map names. Restart cooldowns, battle eyes, and anti-cheat engine thing. So all this stuff really isn't important to gameplay, which is why I'm kind of brushing over it. Right here, you can actually change what event you have playing at any given point. So we could go back to any of the previous events. We're just doing whatever the current ARC official event is right now, though. Okay, so right here, this is the first thing that may be interesting to you guys, is we do not have cryo sickness on, and that's just a setting here that we're able to turn on and off. Since we're not doing PvP, cryopods are just, we use it to basically transport.
Did you know the inventor of the Pringles can was buried in one?
Annoyance.
Did you know the inventor of the Pringles can was buried in one?
We have that off, but you can also have like this debuff turned on, which we don't have either. So anyway, that is cryo sickness right there. Because I know people have asked, how do you not have cryo sickness? Well, I just have that box unchecked. Here we can allow other PC users to join our game, so from Epic Games, but I mean, it's just Sarah and I, so it doesn't really matter. So we just have Steam. Genesis, we're not in Genesis yet, so really not important. Backup, not worried about it. Dynamic maps, don't use it. Admin log, again, just Sarah and I, not important. But here we go. So here's some restrictions that we could turn on, but we obviously have all of them off except for one. So you can prevent survivors from being downloaded. We definitely don't want to do that with how often we switch between servers. And then there's lots of other things in here where you can prevent items or dinos or survivors to be downloaded and uploaded. You can turn off dino writing. I don't know why you'd do that. I guess if you're doing a very specific type of server, but yeah, not something that we have. We're getting to what I think you guys are most interested in here pretty shortly, but we'll get there in a second. You can have random supply crates, where the supply crates just drop at random places. I kind of like knowing where those are going to drop in the other maps, so I do not have that turned on. And then this setting right here, I actually had on at I had this checked at one point when we were doing season 1 on the island, just because the fog would be so annoying sometimes, especially when we were underwater and then the fog rolled in and you couldn't see anything. So I used to have this on. I don't have it on anymore, especially because we're not on the island very often. It hasn't been an issue, but if the fog is something that's annoying to you, hey, look at that. I forgot to turn my alerts off. We'll drag that down. Look at that. Look at that. I'm trying to get all of this set up for normal streaming here pretty soon. But anyway, okay, enough. Okay, we'll turn that off. All right, so yeah, so that's how you can turn on and off the fog, which can be pretty helpful if you don't like the fog. So this is players, ban lists, whitelist, things like that. That's not important for Sarah and I. Okay, but here, gameplay. Here we go. This is the kind of stuff that actually affects what we do on a daily basis when we're playing our game. So obviously we want to allow the use of flying creatures. No flying inside of caves. We have that turned off. Enable third-person mode. Obviously, crosshair, yes. We do not have hardcore mode on because we die a lot, and that would really suck. Status notifications, join notifications, blah, 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 blah. We don't have this checked because Sarah has a hard enough time finding me anyway, so if I turned off my name, that would be just a huge nightmare. But this is how we get our dinosaurs to be max level 150. Took me a while to figure out what the heck, like how the heck to get to that point. But if we go difficulty offset and you just scale the difficulty to 1, which is standard, and then you override the official difficulty with a 5 in there, that means the max level dinosaurs will be level 150. Tech dinosaurs can go higher than that, but this is just the base level for you, right there. Maximum structure nearby. I have disabled structure decay, just because if for whatever reason forget to leave the server on for a week, it won't destroy our stuff. Day and night scale I have at 1, so that's just the standard speed, but I do have the daytime scale at 4, which lengthens the day out by 4 times because I like daytime. So that's, or is that make? Yeah, that's right. Or is that speeding it up? I don't think so. I may have to double check that one, but that's what we're playing on right now at least, because I'm pretty sure that slows the day down. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm second guessing myself. But we're on extinction right now, so it's daytime all the time, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. Don't really know what this does, honestly. You can just do this with admin commands in the game. Don't need to lock things because it's just Sarah and I on one tribe. Let's see. Dinos will be unclaimed after a defined amount of time. No, don't care about that. I guess I could disable that, but it doesn't really matter. Damage dinos by spike walls, yes, so that we could put those up if we're ever trying to protect our bases from, you know, wild dinos. And then we have all this other stuff off right now. We don't want to disable loot crates. Why in the world would we do that? We get such good stuff. Battleize an anti-cheat engine thing, so all this stuff really... Battleize an anti-cheat engine thing, so all tomorrow we'll be going back to the island and Mega Base will be there. So yeah, that's how you change the map names. Restart cooldowns, battleize and anti-cheat. If not, that is totally cool, but we'll go with that. List, if you guys aren't looking to adjust your settings at all, this video probably won't be super interesting to you. But for anybody who plays Ark, you may find some value from this, or at least your curiosity might finally be, you know, squelched. Squelched? Sure, we'll go with that. All right, so just starting at the top, I don't have expert mode on because I'm not an expert. So there you go. We got server name, message of the day duration. This stuff is really not important. We have our map name right here. Now, I use Nitrado servers, and if anybody at any point would like to get their own server, I actually am an affiliate partner with them, and there's a link in the description where you can go and purchase your own server. It's really nice because there's no tethering. You can have as many people on there as you want, you know, depending on what package you purchase, of course. But yeah, it helps support the channel if you guys decide to purchase your own server that way. But If not, that is totally cool, but that is the service that we use because it's worked pretty well for us so far. So this is where we would change what map we're playing on. So we can hop between these, and it saves all of our data on each of the different maps. So tomorrow we'll be going back to the island, and Mega Base will be there. So yeah, that's how you change the map names. Restart cooldowns, battle eyes, and anti-cheat engine thing. So all this stuff really isn't important to gameplay, which is why I'm kind of brushing over it. Right here, you can actually change what event you have playing at any given point. So we could go back to any of the previous events. We're just doing whatever the current ARC official event is right now, though. Okay, so right here, this is the first thing that may be interesting to you guys, is we do not have cryo sickness on, and that's just a setting here that we're able to turn on and off. Since we're not doing PvP, cryopods are just, we use it to basically transport our dinosaurs from place to place. It's a huge annoyance when cryo sickness is enabled. So we have that off, but you can also have like this debuff turned on, which we don't have either. So anyway, that is cryo sickness right there, because I know people have asked, how do you not have cryo sickness? Well, I just have that box unchecked. Here we can allow other PC users to join our game, so from Epic Games, but I mean, it's just Sarah and I, so it doesn't really matter. So we just have Steam. Genesis, we're not in Genesis yet, so really not important. Backup, not worried about it. Dynamic maps, don't use it. Admin log, again, just Sarah and I, not important. But here we go. So here's some restrictions that we could turn on, but we obviously have all of them off except for one. So you can prevent survivors from being downloaded. We definitely don't want to do that with how often we switch between servers. And then there's lots of other things in here where you can prevent items or dinos or survivors to be downloaded and uploaded. You can turn off dino writing. I don't know why you'd do that. I guess if you're doing a very specific type of server, but yeah, not something that we have. We're getting to what I think you guys are most interested in here pretty shortly, but we'll get there in a second. You can have random supply crates, where the supply crates just drop at random places. I kind of like knowing where those are going to drop in the other maps, so I do not have that turned on. And then this setting right here, I actually had on at I had this checked at one point when we were doing season 1 on the island, just because the fog would be so annoying sometimes, especially when we were underwater and then the fog rolled in and you couldn't see anything. So I used to have this on. I don't have it on anymore, especially because we're not on the island very often. It hasn't been an issue, but if the fog is something that's annoying to you, hey, look at that. I forgot to turn my alerts off. We'll drag that down. Look at that. Look at that. I'm trying to get all of this set up for normal streaming here pretty soon. But anyway, okay, enough. Okay, we'll turn that off. All right, so yeah, so that's how you can turn on and off the fog, which can be pretty helpful if you don't like the fog. So this is players, ban lists, whitelist, things like that. That's not important for Sarah and I. Okay, but here, gameplay. Here we go. This is the kind of stuff that actually affects what we do on a daily basis when we're playing our game. So obviously we want to allow the use of flying creatures. No flying inside of caves. We have that turned off. Enable third-person mode. Obviously, crosshair, yes. We do not have hardcore mode on because we die a lot, and that would really suck. Status notifications, join notifications, blah, 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 blah. We don't have this checked because Sarah has a hard enough time finding me anyway, so if I turned off my name, that would be just a huge nightmare. But this is how we get our dinosaurs to be max level 150. Took me a while to figure out what the heck, like how the heck to get to that point. But
Did you know, moment, technically means 90 seconds.
Did you know, moment, technically means 90 seconds.
Max level dinosaurs will be level 150. Tech dinosaurs can go higher than that, but this is just the base level for you. Right there. Maximum structure nearby. I have disabled structure decay, just because if for whatever reason forget to leave the server on for a week, it won't destroy our stuff. Day and night scale I have at 1, so that's just the standard speed, but I do have the daytime scale at 4, which lengthens the day out by 4 times because I like daytime. So that's, or is that make? Yeah, that's right, that's right. Or is that speeding it up? I don't think so. I don't think so. I may have to double check that one, but that's what we're playing on right now at least. Because I'm pretty sure that slows the day down. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm second guessing myself. But we're on extinction right now, so it's daytime all the time, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. Don't really know what this does, honestly. You can just do this with admin commands in the game. Don't need to lock things because it's just Sarah and I on one tribe. Let's see. Dinos will be unclaimed after a defined amount of time. No, don't care about that. I guess I could disable that, but it doesn't really matter. Damage dinos by spike walls, yes, so that we could put those up if we're ever trying to protect our bases from, you know, wild dinos. And then we have all this other stuff off right now. We don't want to disable loot crates. Why in the world would we do that? We get such good stuff from those. And then allows you to go into creative mode. Again, you can do that via admin commands. I don't need to have that server on here. All right, show floating damage text. That's on. Disable imprint dino buff. No, I want that on. Gosh, why does that is rechecked itself a couple times now. I have to keep coming in here and switching that back off. Because we definitely want the dino buff. Oh, dang it. Just lost my spot. Where were we? Flying inside caves. We've been there. Day-night cycle. Blah, blah, blah. Disable. Okay, here we go. I was wondering why, because actually just like an episode or two ago, I'm like, I should have a imprint buff. So I'm happy we looked at that. All right, let's see. Non-permanent diseases. I do not want diseases to be permanent. You could do that if you want like mega rabies or something to consist until you have an antidote. I personally don't like the idea of that, so that's why we have that checked right there. But we don't also want to just prevent them in general, so that's why we have that unchecked. Tribe alliances doesn't really matter. Raid dino feeding, hit marker, blah, 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 blah. Not really that important. No fish loot. Whatever. We've never used fishing, so haven't modified that at all. And then all of this stuff, you guys can read through, pause the video and read through it on your own if you're really interested, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Maximum amount of dinos tamed, we have that at 250. We could up that aim point, but I would be surprised if we ever hit that. C4 charges on dinos, we don't even deal with any of that one. Prevent spawn animation. If you're really sick of looking at yourself waking up and scratching your implant, you can turn that on so it doesn't play anymore. Let's see. We have, this is a kind of an important one. We have disable structure placement collision on. That way, when we're building, and if we're running into a wall, it'll build in like a rock wall. You know, like part of the terrain essentially, and we need to build a wall there in order to complete the house. The wall that we're trying to place into that big rock face or whatever will still place so that we can continue like sealing off an area and aren't disrupted by the terrain itself. So this is a really big one. I would definitely suggest turning that on. All right, so again, you can pause and look at these if you're really interested, but I kind of want to just get down to the PvE and like the official settings that I think you guys are actually interested in, but I figured we'd cover our bases while we're going through it. Okay, so this is the check mark here, just so it's PvE, so Sarah and I aren't able to kill each other, which is good because we would constantly kill each other. Let's see, PvP structure, blah, 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 blah. Disable friendly fire. Again, that's in PvP, so if you have PvE on, I don't think you can even damage each other. Even if this was off, I'm pretty sure that's the way that works. So as long as this is checked, you should be good not to be, you know, whacking each other. All right, so dropping down to the multiplier. So this is really the most important stuff that I think you guys would be interested in. So when it comes to the dino damage, all of these are 1. Structure damage, player resistance, and structure resistance. Those are all just standard settings. Player damage modifies the multiplier for player inflicted damage. We do have that up a little bit to give ourselves a little bit of a damage boost. Auto destroy all blah 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 1/1. Do have a 5 times multiplier for XP so that our dinosaurs can level up a little bit faster. Now you have to remember, all these settings are tuned for Sarah and I actually doing a Let's Play because it's really, really bad content for us to try to tame something and then we have to stand there and wait for it to tame for 45 minutes or an hour. Even though that's like the authentic Ark experience, it doesn't really make for great pacing, at least in my opinion. And I make the videos, so that's really the important thing. So all this stuff is just is geared towards allowing us to progress at a little bit of a more heightened rate so that our series aren't 200 episodes long, and 2 of those episodes are just waiting for like a Rex to tame, or 3 episodes for a Giga to, you know, breed and hatch. So we don't want to waste the time doing that. It's not fun for you guys to watch. It's not exciting to watch. And so all these settings are kind of tuned to save on that grinding, because also Sarah and I don't have a ton of time off camera to do a lot of this stuff, to go and spend hours and hours and hours fixing this up. So this is kind of geared, I guess I should have opened the video with this, but this is kind of geared towards somebody who doesn't want to spend a million hours to try to progress in the game. And this is just what we found works for us, that keeps things going at a pretty decent clip, where we don't feel like we're having to wait forever just for, you know, a bunch of specific things like taming, mating, maturation, and harvesting, things like that. So anyway, with that being said, we'll continue on. The taming speed multiplier is set to 10,000. Essentially what that means is once the dinosaur eats once, it'll instantly tame. So I would definitely recommend turning that up unless you like waiting for your tames, which I do not. Harvesting multiplier is up by 5 to save us from having to destroy 1,000,000 rocks just to get some flint, so that's really, really nice. Resource health multiplier, I have that up by 3. Essentially what that does is it gives like the rocks you're hitting with a pickaxe 3 times the amount of health, so you can whack it for more materials, which is nice. Multiplier for your thirst meter, essentially we have that at 0.2, so it drains much, much slower than normal. Same with the food meter and the stamina meter. We have those turned down to just 0.2, basically meaning that it's gonna take like 5 times longer for that to deplete than it would normally would. Dino hunger multiplier, haven't changed that. Dino stamina multiplier, we do have that turned down so that our dinosaur's stamina drains a little bit slower, which is nice. Allows us to sprint for longer distances. Player harvesting damage multiplier at 1. Dino regeneration multiplier at 5. That way our dinosaurs recover their health a little bit faster when they're out of combat. This is unchanged. Decay multiplier unchanged. Resource respawn multiplier, that's at 0.3. Essentially what that does is allows resources like rocks, bushes, trees, things like that to respawn much faster than normal. So if we're harvesting a certain area, we just have to leave and then we can come back very shortly and all the materials will be back. So that's really, really helpful. Regrow on structures multiplier. So this controls the radius around structures within, right. So once you build like a foundation or any kind of structure, within a certain radius, resources are not going to respawn. And that's something that we didn't want to happen, because we like to build in resource-rich areas so that we can just go right outside our front door and get some resources that we need. So I lowered that pretty substantially so that resources will essentially respawn right next to anything that we build. So that just makes life a little bit easier. Regrow multiplier because there's a radius around the player. So this is the same exact thing essentially, except for instead of structures, this is just around the player itself. Dino decay haven't changed. Lay egg haven't changed. Platform saddle unchanged, unchanged, unchanged. Dino harvesting damage multiplier, I have that turned up to 3. Just so essentially we collect resources faster from our dinos. So if we're using like a tanner or an Anki or something like that, they'll basically harvest resources much, much faster. Much more blah, 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 blah. Okay, unchanged, unchanged. Mating multiplier is turned down way low so that you don't have to wait like 4 or 5 hours in between a dinosaur being able to mate again. So this is about 2 minutes. This at
Did you know frogs can freeze without dying?
Did you know frogs can freeze without dying?
Egg hatch speed multiplier, that's at 25. Usually takes anywhere between 7 and, I don't know, 15 minutes for an egg to hatch at that speed, which we find is pretty nice. Kill XP multiplier, so that's, I think all the multipliers here are ×2, so kill, craft, special, harvest, and generic are all just doubled. Supply crate loot multiplier, we do have this turned up to 20 so that we're getting better loot from the supply crates. It's where we get a lot of our Ascendant Mastercraft gear. This is obviously not being super helpful to us on Extinction, but was very helpful on the island, Scorched Earth and Aberration. Fishing loot, again, we have that turned up to the same as the supply crate loot, but we've never fished, so I don't really know what that looks like, if I'm being honest. Crop growth, we do have that turned up a little bit, again, just to save some time. Fuel consumption interval multiplier, so this basically allows one like canister of gasoline to last twice as long, which is really nice, so you don't have to get as much gasoline. Crop decay, that is unchanged. Same with hair growth and all of this stuff. This is all unchanged, except for this right here, which is the battery consumption. If we were using electrical stuff, the batteries would last 4 times as long. All right, baby multipliers. So the baby maturation speed we have turned up to 45. So that allows the baby, it still takes some time for the babies to mature at that speed. Now, it's still, for every creature that we've ever bred before, it still allows us to get 1 imprint on that baby at all these settings that we have, and that allows us to get to 100% imprinting bonus here. So we'll go over that in just a second. But it usually takes anywhere, I don't know, for like the Rexes that we just bred in our series, it's taken about, I don't know, 30 to 45 minutes, somewhere in there. I don't know the exact time, but it takes, I think it's less than an hour, but it's around that long still for the baby to mature. So that's what 45 looks like for you. The baby cuddle interval multiplier, we have this at 0.1, which basically means that the babies want to cuddle more frequently, which allows us to imprint on them, so which is pretty easy. Baby imprinting stat scale multiplier. So this is the, let's see, how much of an effect on stats the imprinting quality has. So we just have it double. We have it at 2. Baby imprint amount multiplier. So this multiplier applied to the percentage each imprint provides. I have that at 4. So essentially you just have to imprint on a dinosaur 1 time and it'll give you 100%. So that way you don't have to keep coming back to continually imprint. So that's just at 4. You just give it care 1 time and you get the full imprint. And then these are unchanged down here. Now all this stuff down along these lines are unchanged, and then, to keep coming back to continually imprint, so that's just at 4. You just give it care 1 time and you get the full imprint. And then these are unchanged down here. Now all this stuff down along these lines are unchanged, and then, here you go. Maybe what I said earlier was not actually accurate. I have disable friendly fire here, and this disables friendly fire among tribe mates, tribe dinos, and tribe structures on PvE. So I guess what I said earlier, don't listen to me. If you want to not kill each other here on PvE, make sure you have this checked, I would imagine. So we're going to go ahead and save that because I think I made a couple changes there. And if any of you guys are seeing something that doesn't look quite right or I explained it wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comments. As I stated at the outset of this video, I'm not an expert. Okay, so that is all of our general settings. Now let's go ahead and go into, oh gosh, where's that? Is it engine settings that I want to go into? Because there's actually more settings. Hey, here we go. So this is, we have a couple things in here as well, and this affects how much stats we get per level that we increase, either for the player or for our tame dinos. So in here, you can see the multipliers that we have for each individual stat for both the players and the dinos. So obviously we have stamina increase, crafting speed goes up by multiplier of 10 every time we put points into that. And then the big notable ones here, we get 2.5 times amount of health per per level that we get, and then 2 times speed. And then everything for the dinos is pretty similar to the players, just a little bit different. There's 5 multipliers on the things that aren't super important, more of the grindy things like water and food. And then we just have 2 for stamina, 4 for speed, so we can get around a little bit faster in our videos, and then 2 for melee damage and health. That used to be much, much higher. In Season 1, I think this was like 4 or 5, and it was just super OP. Our dinos are still pretty strong. We can get through the game without too many difficulties, but with it only being 2 times for melee damage and health, we still lose plenty of dinosaurs that way. So we don't have any other special settings here. This is the only settings we have in engine controls, or engine settings here. So let me show you guys real quick. We only have 2 mods running on the server right now, and those are classic flyers. This allows you to get to basically upgrade the movement speed on your birds. I think there's an update to this actually that allows you to upgrade movement speed on snow owls as well, because I noticed playing through Extinction it doesn't allow us to upgrade the speed on them, but it's really not a big deal. But yeah, we've got classic flyers and then ultra stacks. Ultra stacks just decreases the weight of most of the items in the game and allows you to stack them up to like 1,000 or 10,000 depending on the replay through on. So yeah, guys, that is all of our server settings, the mods, the image. There you go. Now you're good. And if you want to imitate what we're doing on your own single player map, or if you want to start your link in the description where you can purchase your own server. And of course we've had a couple frustrating things that have happened with our server, but I think that's more of an ARC issue, not a Nitrado server issue. And we've got great customer support with these guys, so I would highly recommend it, especially if you're more than one person playing on your game, because it's really nice not to have to be tied to it as you're rolling around the map. But anyway, this is where we're gonna wrap the video. I hope you guys found this helpful. Maybe there's a couple of you that if that's the case, I'm happy that I was able to make this for you guys. But anyway, if you guys could go ahead and like this video if you found it helpful at all.
Shoot, I need to lose.
Below on some other things that you'd like me
I need
to
to
go
lose.
over in ARC. I'd be happy to make more videos about the servers or tutorials on how we've done things, because Sarah and I started off a couple months ago knowing nothing about ARC, and there's a lot that we've learned, and I'm sure there's lots and lots and lots that we still need to learn. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below on any mistakes that I made or anything else you'd like to see, and yeah, be sure you subscribe. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we will see all of you on the flip side.
I'm in shock. What? How do you... Like, there are so few videos where I actually don't know what to say. Well, alright, I don't know what the fuck this video is. There's just a question mark. That's it. Just a question mark. Here we go.
Did you know cats can't taste sweetness?
Did you know
What the fuck?
cats can't taste sweetness?
Okay.
WoW's darkest secret. Exposed? Wait, what the fuck? Is this a story?
I'm going to start this off by saying whatever the hell you do not look in the comment section below.
Smart.
Though I don't usually get many, if any, comments on my productions, the ones that are there will no doubt spoil what is to come.
Okay.
So go into full screen mode and let me show you this.
Alright.
Because I promise you, it's going to blow your mind. I believe I've made a WoW discovery that literally no one else has ever found.
Okay.
No matter how much I try to look it up, there's never any results. No DuckDuck searches, no YouTube videos, nothing.
Okay.
And that's pretty damn surprising, considering this is
It
a game
is.
from 2004 that we're talking about here.
True.
This is the vanilla WoW world map. As you can see, there's only
Right.
2 continents, Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor.
It is.
Let me ask you a question. Out of all the zones in these 2 continents, which one is the most forgettable?
Out of all the zones, which one is the most forgettable? I'm really trying to think about this in like a legitimate way. Dustwall Marsh. I think Duskwall Marsh is the most forgettable, irrelevant zone in Classic WoW. It was so bad, they updated it with new quests twice. No, Badlands, Anixia? Oh, Anixia. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh my god. Deadwind Pass? Probably Deadwind Pass, yeah.
I'll
I
give you
think
a few
that's fair.
seconds to think about it.
Maybe Deadwind Pass. Ashara? I liked Ashara. I thought Ashara was cool.
Alright, time's up. I imagine that the vast majority of people probably answered with Desolus, Silithus,
There it is.
Alterac Mountains, Deadwind Pass.
Yeah.
You know, the usual suspects.
True.
But there's one zone in Vanilla WoW that literally everyone knows about, but is almost universally forgotten.
Stone Talon Mountains?
And that zone is Stone Talon Mountains. Stone Talon Mountains is a contested zone that shares a border with the Barrens and Desolus.
Right.
The fact that it's a contested zone is quite interesting in of itself, as despite there being many low-level Horde quests available here, for Alliance players, there's almost nothing at all.
Yeah, I
In
was
fact,
here.
I'd be willing to bet that if you're an Alliance main like me, you've probably never even been here before. The zone itself has an extremely unusual design, and there
Okay.
really is nothing else like it in the game. It's essentially one
Yeah.
giant valley that connects to 3 different open chasms that are completely different to one another.
Okay.
Due to the zone's odd layout and frustrating quests, even many Horde players tend to skip it entirely when leveling.
That's
But
fair.
I'm not here to talk about the zone or even its quests,
Yeah.
but something much, much weirder.
What's
We all
that?
know that WoW has a day-night cycle that is in sync with the server's time zone.
Yes.
If it's daytime in real life, then it will be daytime in game
Oh,
2.
yes.
They've
If
changed
it's
this.
nighttime in real life, then it will be nighttime in game 2.
I think so.
A zone's atmosphere can change significantly depending on whether it's day or night.
Okay.
But this is true especially for Stone Talon Mountains.
What?
During the day, Stone Talon Mountains just looks and feels like a pretty typical looking place.
Yeah.
A bit of trees here, a bit
Yeah,
of grass there.
sure.
But at night, this zone and the way it feels to be in it
Yeah.
almost completely changes. From the hours of midnight to 5
Hey, baby, I
a.m.,
love you
music
too.
no longer plays in the zone. Instead, all you can hear is this strange wind ambience that sounds really freaky. What's weirder is that at night, the entire zone has this creepy red tint to it for seemingly no reason. And there's a ton of fog that limits how far you can see.
Yeah.
Not sure if you can really notice it here, but the difference when it's daytime is really, well, night and day.
Well, let's see it.
Now, obviously,
that's
when I
good.
first discovered this,
That's good.
I was confused just as much as you probably are. Why is it like this?
Why
no
does
other
it?
zone has effects like
Why
these at
is
night.
it?
It just seems weird.
Yeah.
And again, no matter how much I looked into it, no one had an answer. But that's not even why I'm making this, because, yeah, it's weird, but it could just be some sort of attempt at atmospheric immersion.
Absolutely.
No, I'm making this because of a strange phenomenon that kept happening to my character here.
What?
If you know me, then you'll know that I'm pretty much nocturnal, as in, seriously nocturnal.
What the fuck?
I'm always up at night and in the early hours of the morning because that's just how I like it.
Okay.
As a result, whenever I play WoW, it's always in the dark. That's how I noticed how weird Stone Talon Mountains was in the first place. In classic WoW, I had an orc warrior called Warzone that I would occasionally level up to see what the Horde side of the game was like.
Got it.
Just a way to relax and see what
I
I would
never
have
did
otherwise
this.
missed out on my Alliance main.
I never did
Stone
this.
Talon Mountains
At all.
was one of the zones I ended up leveling in. I remember being taken aback at what a weird, almost psychedelic dreamscape the zone felt like. It reminded me of somewhere where a nightmare would take place, but again, I didn't think anything of it until this happened. This is a screenshot I took at 2:14 a.m. on the 20th of October 2020.
Your
I'm in the
character's dead.
Windshear Crag
Okay.
part of the zone, and as you can see, my character is dead.
Right.
You're probably thinking that a mob must have got me or
It must
something,
have.
but no. The reason I took this screenshot is because my character just died instantly for no reason whatsoever.
What
I was
the
just
fuck?
running around doing some quest when he just dropped dead. At first I thought that maybe a high-level rogue got me, then vanished or something, but
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
see any. And according to my combat log, nothing happened. He just
The
died.
character just died.
I kept this screenshot because I thought I would put it in a future production of mine, as at the time there was a lot of uproar about how badly Blizzard maintained Classic WoW, with there
Yeah.
being a ton of bots and gold sellers
I
flying
remember
around.
that.
I figured it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for there to be bugs like this too, as
No.
after all, this is Blizzard we're talking about here.
I've had that happen to me too, actually. I remember my my character's been killed by invisible mobs. It happened to me during my Iron Man challenge in WoW. Like, yeah, this has happened to me too.
Either way, I rezzed up and carried on with my questing before
Okay.
heading off for the night. 24 hours later, and I am, once again, questing in the Windshear Crag. Everything was going smoothly until once again, bam. It happened again. Instant death, no combat log, just dead. I had never experienced anything quite like this. I mean, yeah, WoW could be buggy, but it's never been this bad. I looked back at the
Yeah.
screenshot I took the night before and noticed something really unusual. The time of death on both shots was exactly the same.
There's no- this gotta be-
2:14 a.m.
This has gotta be fake.
That was just way too much of a coincidence
This
to
gotta be
ignore.
fake.
I tried to make a post on r/classic WoW to ask if anyone knew what kept happening to my character.
Okay.
But
Smart.
it got removed, and then I was banned for no reason.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
pretty
makes
standard.
sense.
I decided that this was way too much of a coincidence to ignore. So, I conjured a plan.
Okay.
The next night, at 2:14 a.m., I would have my recorder on, just
Yeah.
in case my character died again,
That would make
so that I
sense.
would have proof of this weird bug in action. The
Well, let's see
following
it.
is what I captured.
Wow. It's lit.
Nothing. I waited around for a few minutes longer, but it just wasn't happening. I figured that it really must have been just a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
Feeling disappointed, I turned off my recorder and carried on questing. But then, boom. It happened.
Bro, is this like an alien thing? Bro, like, I feel like I've seen this before. It's like, y'all ever realize it? Think about a little fucking thing, a hypothetical population thing, like this, the fact that like God stopped doing miracles whenever they invented cameras. Wasn't that weird? Wasn't that like, it's just a weird coincidence that those two things lined up? But what a coincidence, like that's crazy, man. Cause he used to do like all these crazy things like moving the sun around and just, you know, these like massive things that would happen, like God would do all this stuff. And then like whenever they invented cameras, like people, he just decided, he's like, man, I'm gonna just, man, let's pump the brakes on this whole moving the sun around shit.
Again. This time at
Did I
2:47
password
a.m.
protected?
3 deaths in a row on 3 different days. But why was this one at a different time than the others? The only difference I noticed between the last shot and the first
Yeah.
two is that on the last one, I was at the Charred Vale part of the zone. Whereas
Okay.
with the first two, I was in the Windshear Crag. So, I had another idea.
Did you know a blue whale's tongue weighs as much as an elephant?
AM and had my recorder
Did you
on
know
then instead.
a blue whale's
Maybe
tongue
there
weighs as
it would
much as an
happen again.
elephant?
Okay, that makes
So,
sense.
Once again, I set my character there and waited.
Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Fixed.
Holy shit.
There we go.
I now had video evidence of this so-called bug in action. But honestly,
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Rick's Retreat, Lost Colony. Day one. No mods. Go check it out. Go check it out. Let's go see what we can do. Figure it out. Figure it out. Yeah. No mods. Oh yeah, that's me. That's me. That's me, baby. Human. Rick. Okay.
And you sing me to sleep at night. Are you my mom?
Are you my mama?
I'm sorry, Mika. I'm not.
Mama. Mama. Mama.
Diana Altara's was.
Mama. 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 Mama.
Wait! You're Helena Walker. One of those heroes Dad told me about. From back on Earth.
I don't know that I was a hero. I just did what needed to be done.
Sounds exactly like what a hero would say. You saved the world.
And it took everything. But I know you have that same strength within you, Mika.
That strength. So, if you're in my head, do you know how I feel? Do you know what it's like to want someone back with you more than anything?
I do. I loved someone once. Very much.
What was her name?
See? You do know more than you think. To her friends, she was Mei Yin. But to those who feared her, she was called...
The Beast Queen! My dad said she was one of the toughest survivors he ever knew. What happened to her?
I had to. Leave her behind. To the far side of the earth, to frozen wastes shrouded in endless night, where a small pocket of humanity managed to survive the long cataclysm, in a place called Arat Prime.
Arat Prime? Where the Ark
Y'all come join the server.
That's right.
Rick's Retreat, Lost Colony.
Traveled there looking for a way back to me. And your mother, Diana.
Crossplay.
But what she found instead...
What? What was it? Tell me!
There she found... the stuff of nightmares. Survivor, hear my words and awaken. It's been over 1,000 years since we last spoke, and I'm communicating with you now from a distant planet because I need your... Yes, you were the one I waited so long for. You completed what I had started, and together, we restored life to an extinct world. But there's still one place left on Earth where a form of element still lingers, rendering it impenetrable to the cleaning energies of the Reseed Protocol. This forlorn outpost, where you are now, was once a research colony called Arat Prime, sister facility of Sanctuary, where the technology to store and transmit He's here. Brace yourself.
The Codex provides a feast fit for a king and his family.
Did you know?
And I
some fish
can't
contain
deny
sex?
myself a taste.
No. Some fish contain sex.
Very sweet. You are truly a marvelous creation. I wonder, you may yet better serve the family by joining us rather than feeding us. Yes. You will become one of our kind. Drink, and you will know nothing of death or pain ever again. Ah! What power is this? Who else is in there with you?
I could only stun him for a moment. What are you waiting for, Survivor? Get the hell out of there! Don't worry, Survivor. You've been infected by Red Element. But I kept you from being turned by firing an engram pulse through the arc transmission network. I'm using that same network to communicate with you from a planet far away. At least until the so-called Lost King figures out how I've accessed it. My friends and I need your help, Survivor. And together, we can help you reach safety here with us. Find a way in and locate the Codex so you can transmit it across the galaxy to me here on Arat, along with your own consciousness. You can do this, Survivor.
Hear me, my thrall. You may have fled blindly into the wastes, but we will find you and bring you back. Do not fear. You are no longer sustenance to us. You have tasted of our life force and begun your journey to become one of us. One of the lost. And so, it is only a matter of time before we are reunited.
Here we go. Okay. Enable. Enable. Oh, enable cheats. Enable cheats.
What a cute little kit. Poor thing looks lonely. Maybe if you come in low and slow, you won't spook it.
Did you know? The wood frog can survive being frozen solid in winter.
Did you know? The wood frog can survive being frozen solid in winter.
It's very cool. Really cool. Yes.
Ah, you found the Great Western Bridge, built to access the Highlands to our west by a seditious lord desperate to regain my favor. Alas, it was completed too late to save him. My children may not attack you on sight, but don't think that means you have free reign here. Follow our rules. I warned you! Now my children will teach you not to disobey. Unless you can prove yourself against our revenant invaders.
Crazy.
You finally made it to the upper city, where my most esteemed children are to be found, free of worry and insecurity. You could be quite comfortable here. Oh, no you don't. Our palace is closed to the general public, and locked by sigil codes. You will never again see the inside of it, so perish that thought now.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know some fish can change sex? Did you know some fish can change sex? Did you know a single strand of spaghetti is called a spaghetto? Did you know a single strand of spaghetti is called a spaghetto? Did you know a jiffy is an actual unit of time, about 1/100th of a second? Did you know a jiffy is an actual unit of time, about 1/100th of a second?
Did the game crash?